everyone, welcome back to my craft room. If you're new to my craft room, then welcome. Today I'm doing another one of my trash to treasure DIYs, if you want to call it that. Using some old jars that I had. These are actually little like gravy jars. You can use any kind, it really doesn't make any difference. Not going to need the lid, so we're going to take that off. I am going to use these pretty napkins again to decoupage on some of these. Actually all of them. I'm actually making 3. I'm just going to show you one because, you know, it's the same thing over and over. But these I got at Dollar Tree, believe it or not. And I did my one Easter bunny with that napkin, and I really love it. So I figured I'm going to make these little vases here because I need 3 of them. I want kind of just sitting in a row in my one bathroom downstairs. So that's what I'm making these for. And I figured these will take me through from spring to summer, all the way to fall, I'm pretty sure. And then you can just change up your flowers wherever you want. So anyway, the first thing you want to do is clean your jar really good. Make sure you have all the oils and things off of it. I'm not even going to dump paint out. I already have one painted. I'm just going to show you guys quick how I did these. I'm going to do the bottom part last, but I just take a sponge brush and just smear a lot of this on here. You can do this really quickly. And then I just go back over and just kind of tap it all in, just so it gives us this little bit of a textured look to it. I'll show you the one that's all done over here. And then when I'm all done, I'll go back and put a coat on the bottom. But that's it. I'm just going to go all the way around this thing, just smearing the paint on real quick here. And then I just go over it like so, just so it gives it that nice little like bumpy textured look to it. But that's it, and then I'll set it down and then just go over the top of it, just one coat on the rim. But I am going to do 2 coats of this, and I got paint on me already, and all I did was a tiny bit. Let me stick my sponge here in some water. But that's it, that's how you paint them. It's really simple. Now I need to get the paint off my finger. Handy dandy box of baby wipes here, which is almost empty, so they're all coming out at me. All right. Yeah, I keep these. These are the best thing to have here in my craft room. I found is these little, like the little container I got at the grocery store, but you know, the little baby wipes you can get at Dollar Tree. So there we go. All right, so let me set this aside. I'll show you the one that I have finished over here. I'm going to try not to get paint on me while I move this. What are the odds? Yay. All right. So here is one that has the 2 coats on it. I didn't worry about doing right here because we're going to cover this up, so you're not even going to see that. So, you know, I just did the 1 coat on the bottom, and then we're going to take our napkin. Let me get this paint out of my way since I'm not using it anymore. So I got more on me. Okay, so you're just going to take your napkin. I just ripped these. You can use your water pens or whatever you do to cut out images for decoupage, but I literally tore this napkin in half, just like so, and it makes it a little easier to get them apart too, because you can kind of see where they come apart, except this one's going to give me a hard time, right? Here we go. And it's a 2-ply napkin, so you're going to want to take off the extra ply there and get it down to 1 ply, which makes it so much easier to decoupage with. And then all I did was I just took some different size. It was kind of, I did bigger sizes on some of these, but it was really difficult. So what I ended up doing was just kind of ripping these down like this. And then I'm actually taking the butterfly off because we're going to use that too. And this is too tall for this jar. So I just ripped across these little flowers and then just had a bunch of pieces like this. Now my straight edge here I want to get rid of, because you kind of want this jagged edge. It just blends in so much better. So we're just going to rip that off there. And then, you know, just going to do the same thing and just go around, save a couple of these butterflies that are on here. We're going to add those later. But yeah, it's just that simple. But like I said, you want to use your water pens or whatever, that's fine too. But there you go. I already have a couple up there done. So let's move this out of the way. So now we're going to get some of our Mod Podge. This stuff I get at the Dollar Tree. And then one of my handy dandy Dollar Tree brushes. I love these brushes, my favorite brushes of all time. And I'm going to dump some of this in a little container here. And I use quite a bit of Mod Podge on these, I'm not gonna lie, because I put it on really thick and get it to, you know, work a little bit better. So then you're gonna take this, figure out exactly where you want it. The bottom really doesn't matter, it's just gonna tuck under a tiny bit. And then we're just gonna start putting on the Mod Podge. Now you can put some underneath if you want to get it started, like a little thin layer here to just kind of lay it down. I just go right through the top because, you know, it's down to the 1 ply of napkin, so it goes right through. So you really don't need to do that extra step unless, you know, that's the way you're used to doing it. It's fine. Either way is fine. But I just gonna keep, like I said, I use a lot of Mod Podge because that way I'm not ripping my napkin. It looks kind of wrinkly when you're getting going here, but as long as you're pushing those down nice, once it dries, it kind of gets a lot flatter. But I'm going to get down here as close to the bottom as I can before I start tucking that underneath. And that can have like a little tiny fold in it, and nobody's going to care. But there, that's the first piece. So then just random pieces. These things will go together really nice. I think that's one that's got to come off. Is that the one that's too tall? Oh no, that one's okay. All right, so then we're just going to add this one here, right next to that one. I think that looks good right there. And since there's so many flowers on this, I mean, this will just blend in really nice, you know, when you attach it to the next piece. You can see where it really gets wrinkly looking. I had this problem. I already have one done here. Actually, I have 2 of them done. And once it dried, they pretty much, all those little wrinkles kind of settled down and, I don't know, attached itself here to the jar. But yeah, as long as you have a lot of Mod Podge on here, you can really work with these napkins. They don't rip too easy, so there we go. And then we just keep going around here with our next piece. Now this one might have been exact match. That's a little too low. Let's see, what did I do here? Is it this piece maybe? I had a bunch of these ripped out. No, it's not that one. It is this one. There we go. So we're going to try to get that to match there somewhat. And if you want to try to work with, you know, bigger pieces of this, that's fine. But I was not having any luck with that, you know, because you're working with a flat thing on a round surface and it just didn't want to lay down nice. So I figured smaller pieces sometimes are just easier to work with. So we are just going to keep going here. We're almost done with this. And I did not plug in my glue gun. Hang on. Let me plug this in here while I'm yakking away. There we go. I meant to do that as soon as I came in here, and I did not. But, alright, so that looks like that's on pretty good. Alright, and we're just going to keep going here. I'm probably going to end up with a little spot here, so I have some of these I can rip, you know, smaller pieces to put in here. But let's see, how close are we going to be? Pretty darn close. Alright, so that is one that I did rip alongside of that. There we go. That matched up almost perfectly. I'll just tuck that up under there, whatever's left on the top. So like I said, we are going to do something up there. It's another cloudy, dreary looking day out here today. I'm just hoping for some really pretty spring weather here soon. I mean, they give us a couple of nice days, maybe 60, 70 degrees, and then it's right back down. All right, so see, I ended up with a little space left over. I'm just going to take this here, and we're just going to tear this down pretty much. This stuff rips really nice, too. Right down a nice straight line. So let's see, how's that going to fit here? I think that will work perfectly. There we go. Empty space covered up. And like I said, there's so many flowers and things that they just blend in with each other. I'll have to see if Dollar Tree has more of these napkins because I'm really liking these. They're just so pretty. All right. Oops. I ripped that by picking it up and rolling it around. There you go. All better. All right. I'm going to set that aside to dry. And then I'll show you here. I have one that's all finished. Move my glue out of the way. Get my brush in the water before I forget. All right. Oh, I didn't put my butterflies on. I know. I'm glad I didn't dump that. Now I need another brush, but... So let's see. I gotta figure out where I want the front to be. This looks real pretty right here. So you could just add these butterflies back in wherever. I'm gonna put one right there. So there we have our one butterfly. And then let's see, this pretty one here, we gotta put one of those back on, one of these orange ones that I ripped out. Maybe we'll put this up here where this kind of bare spot is. There we go. So now we have the two butterflies on there. All right, so now we're going to set you aside and put another brush in the water here. All right, so let me get this stuff out of the way. So now this is what they look like when they're all dry. See, most of the little wrinkles and things, they pretty much are gone. There's a few here and there, but not a big deal. There's my pretty butterfly here. Where's my other one? Oh, there it is right there. All right, so I think I'll make this the front. And the only reason I'm saying which was going to be the front is because I'm going to add... Where'd you go? I keep losing the butterflies. All right, I'm going to add jute string to go around the top of this. Now this jute string is from Walmart. You can use the jute string from Dollar Tree too, but that's a lot thinner, but it'll work just the same. This is the 4-ply number 27. They have this in the craft section at Walmart. And I love this stuff. It's just the perfect size. It's like a little bit thicker than Dollar Tree's, but not, you know, too thick. So we're going to start underneath this rim here with our first row of jute string. Not quite on the back there, but that's good enough. And we're just going to keep going around and around and around with this jute string. Really simple. And then when we get here, we're just going to move it up on top of that one, like so. And we're just going to keep going around. Real simple, real easy. You know me, I love simple, easy DIYs. You want to make sure it stays nice and close together, though. You don't want it to, like, stick up where you can see too much of that, you know, where it wasn't painted or whatever. So we're... And this jute string, it glues to itself really well. I don't think I have any glue in there because it doesn't want to stay. There we go. Now you're staying. Yep, that's it. I'm just going to keep going around and around and around. I've made some similar to this before. I love them, like I said, because you can just change these up. You know, you just put your flowers in there, and then, or any kind of decoration you want, and then for all the spring and summer seasons, you could throw a couple Easter eggs on here if you wanted to. You know, in with your flowers for Easter, which is really close now. This year is starting to take off already. All right, so right there is going to be where I end. So we're just going to cut that off and glue that down. There we go. And then that will be how we finish off the top of these. And I'm doing all exactly the same. That's why I said I'm only going to do one here, because, you know, you don't need to see all of them. All right, so that is pretty much done. You could add a little bow to this or anything you want to. I was going to, but then it kind of hid my butterflies and things, so I decided not to. So now what I'm going to do is take some of these boxwood. These I get at Walmart too. I don't know what they are now. Last year when I got them, they were $1.89, I believe. They weren't very expensive. So we're going to stick some of those in there, because then you have to use less of your flowers and things. So let's see. I want a smaller branch here. This should work. I'm going to take that one off, save that for a rainy day. So there, we're just going to stick those in like that. And I got these really pretty wildflowers, they're called, from Dollar Tree. I got pink, yellow, and white. So we're just going to stick a few of these in there. Oops. You know what, let me pop that off. There we go. The easiest way to get those labels off, just to pop one off and put it back on. Alright, so let me get rid of my scissors before I try to cut wire with them. I'm just going to add a few of these. Stick a pink one in here. Peek it out. And then we have our yellow one. I'll stick a yellow one over here. Get in there. I'm getting stuck on my boxwoods. There we go. So put a yellow in there. Oops. Back to the front. Alright. And then I think we'll take a white one. Maybe I'll make that one a little bit taller to go in the bag. Don't need all these leaves on here. Put the white one back here. Stick up high. And then I think I might put another yellow one over here. Like I said, if you want to stick like a little Easter decoration in there for now, and then you can just take it out, and then when summer comes around, I think I'm going to put some of those pretty little daisies in there that I got from Dollar Tree not too long ago. I think they would look really pretty in here for summer. But that's it. That's all I'm adding to these. It's just a little bit, you know, like you just went out in the garden, picked a few flowers, stuck them in a vase, and there you go. But that's it. So let me finish up my other ones. Here's the other one I have done right here. But I want 3 of these up on my one shelf, and I think that's going to look real cute. With, like, I have a couple little bunnies. I'll show you when I'm done that I'm going to put in between it. But that's it. That's how we make this. But yeah, so I'm going to finish that one up, and then I will take a nice picture of these when I get them all set up, so you guys can see how I'm, arranging these. And yeah, so thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this quick and easy little DIY project, and I'll see you guys all next time. Have a great day, everyone.